Hello everyone, back again for episode 2 of Sailing She's Apples. I'm Sandra and I just know you've been waiting to hear what I have to say about our travels. We hope you enjoy this episode. By the way, we've decided to introduce a special segment each episode showing some place, incident or whatever from our past. It may or may not relate to our travels in She's Apples. It's a sort of lucky dip, so watch out for the lucky dip special at the end. You may find it surprising to see some of the things we get up to. In our last video, we travelled from Lefkada to Sivota on the mainland, then to Corfu. The Greeks, by the way, call the place Kerkyra. Corfu's history goes way back to at least the 2nd millennium BC, and probably a lot further than that. In ancient times, Corfu was a major maritime power and was invaded many times by, for example, the Corinthians, the Persians, the Byzantines, the Venetians, the Ottomans, etc. In modern times she has been occupied by the Italians in World War II and the British. The British seem to have left a love of cricket behind when they withdrew. You'll be thrilled to know that some scenes from the 1981 movie For Your Eyes Only were filmed in Corfu. So we're still in Corfu at this stage, but leaving shortly to return to Lefkada, where a new rig awaits She's Apples. Stay tuned. Cole took some photos from atop the hill behind Mandraki Harbour, where there's an old Venetian castle. It's a perfect location and the view is spectacular. Cole's son Dan paid us a visit while we were here, and together they went to visit the monastery of Paleokastritsa on the western side of the island. Lovely place. After Mandraki Harbour, we went round to Naok Harbour, the nautical club of Corfu, where we stayed a few days. The crew of one of the 3 mega yachts tied to the outside of the breakwater partied hard one night, and a female crew member decided to streak, running along the breakwater to the cheers of the rest. She enjoyed it so much that she shouted, "I'm doing it again!" And she did. Excitement galore next morning when a sudden thunderstorm appeared out of nowhere, with the crew still asleep after a heavy night. They eventually woke and tried to get away from the breakwater, but 2 of them had their anchor chains tangled. Cole and Dan rushed to help and disaster was narrowly averted, but one of them was still damaged as it dragged against the breakwater. Cole has still not forgiven me for not waking him to watch the streaker. Back in Lefkada, A large crane was used to remove the mast from She's Apples in order to replace the rig. It was a tense moment. It apparently had not been replaced since new, which was 17 years, and although it looked fine, we thought it prudent to replace the standing rigging. It was a good idea to replace the rig. It was rusted inside according to the rigger who did the job, just waiting for an opportunity to fail catastrophically. Good call. While back in Lefkas, Cole made us a new passerelle. The old one was just a plank, and it was just a matter of time before I lost my balance and went for a swim. For a cost of about €120, Cole made a very serviceable passerelle from a 2-metre ladder and a piece of plywood. A bought one can cost over €1,000. He's a clever boy.
It's true.
And we did a bit of socialising at the Porto Cafe in Lefkas Marina. When all the work was done, we were off to Nidri, further along on the island of Lefkada. Here's a few nighttime photos. Handheld. I hope they're not too shaky. After Nidri, we went across to the island of Kalamos, where we tied up, stern to for the night. A big power boat tied up next to us, and in the morning he tried to drag us away by the anchor. We were not impressed, nor were the 2 Dutch guys in the boat next to us. We don't have a lot of video from back then, but here's a bit showing me hard at work en route to Ithaca. We stayed overnight at Peripigadi on the southeast side of Ithaca. We call it Rocky Bay. The boat shown on the right of this photo was a damn nuisance. They partied till very late with very loud music. Cole says there's definitely a good side to having a hearing impairment. The water here is absolutely crystal clear, so beautiful. From Peripigadi, we sailed around to Sami on the island of Kefalonia. Here's a little bit of recent video taken with Cole's drone camera. Compare the way it looks to the midsummer crowding of the following stills. Oh yes, I promised you a lucky dip surprise. Here's Col and I, not long after we first met. Yes, our first love was aeroplanes, and this is my Sepa 903, a 1947 French design, my pride and joy when I lived in England. I cried when I sold her. Sometimes I still miss her. Over time, you'll get to see more of our flying adventures. So, watch out for our next video, where we continue our cruise around Ithaca, Kefalonia and Lefkada, before heading off towards the Gulf of Corinth. See you in the next video. You're going to be pointing that camera at me.
Would I point a camera at you?
Yes, you will.